Good afternoon. Bob Purdon again, and we want to continue talking about the coaching aspect of the business, which is the frosting on the cake, really, after all the expenses of building a business and putting all the pieces together. How do we utilize it, and how do we maximize our efforts and rewards from it? And it comes to coaching, in my opinion. There's a lot of administrative work that we've talked about, we know that, but the coaching is really what takes us over the top. So the coaching strategy is, I'm repeating myself from the last thing, but I'd like to just talk about, again, the coaching strategy. After identifying the category that they could need work, and we review the specific coaching guideline sheets that I'm going to produce in a few minutes. In reviewing these guideline sheets, make sure the product specialist is engaged in the review and is acknowledged where he or she is off track, and so to speak. The manager and the product specialist are making notes on their copy of the coaching guideline sheet. So they actually use these sheets and take notes as to what the plan is and what the approach is for their gain. A game plan is discussed and agreed to by both parties, with a performance goal established to be reviewed the following week. Now, the following trainings guideline sheets are designed to identify and offer solutions, more importantly, to common situations that cost untold lost dollars, really, to product specialists, managers, and dealers. So, in pursuit of these solutions, we suggest that everybody have copies. Of course, the first area that could be an issue could be a lack of demos. So we're going to talk about negative trends and solutions to them. So let's talk first about one of them being a demo, lack of demos. The tools that are used in successful high-level demos are representative models, at least, house demos possibly, gas cleaned, ready to go, a video theater type approach, a program on the computer, obviously, and brochures. All of these are tools that can help get the demo accomplished at a high level. Key access. So are the keys available? Because you don't want to be leaving the customer to set the stage for a demo and have a problem of finding the keys, because that will create a loss of momentum at least. Asking for demo. People may think that it's a positive, but to a lot of people, it is not a positive. If someone was going to ask the wrong customer if they'd like to take a demo, then a certain customer will say to themselves, "Oh man, I don't know how to drive these, and no thanks." And they'll obviously try to fib their way out by saying, "I've already driven them." Or what if I get in an accident? What's going to happen? Oh, no thanks. What if it runs out of gas? No thanks. So they don't know how the demo is going to be established. So a demo that appears to be a positive offering is a challenge to a lot of people, and some of them would hesitate on the demo because they may buy it. So there are a lot of reasons, wrong reasons, but there are a lot of reasons people will use as an excuse not to take a ride. And that all occurred because they were asked to take a demo. They don't know that we're driving if it's done right. They don't know we're going to introduce them to the car if it's done right. They don't know those things. So prematurely asking for a demo is going to create more negatives, and get 3 negatives and we've lost a write-up, I promise you. So asking should not be part of it. So the word demo should not even be used, frankly, in the presentation process and the actual ride in the vehicle. So I would avoid using the word demo. And we show how and why. Poor technique. We should be first presenting the features of a vehicle in the inventory or in the showroom. We talk about presenting the exterior features first. We'll cover the interior in a few minutes, and it will give us a reason to set a very strong stage for the demo. So we show the outside features. We lift the hood, show the benefits of the hood, the benefits of the benefits. I've got to wake up. The benefits of the impact bumpers, the 5-mile-per-hour bumpers, inner fender skirts, all of those features that are related to the front of the vehicle. That's really what counts, okay? Do they understand that on impact, these features will, in a sense, accordion down and reduce the shock of the hit? So that is an example. The side guard beams on the vehicle, the impact safety features of the car on the side, the safety glass, the pillars, the roof pillars that are reinforced. All of these things are critical to cover the outside and lead the customer around the vehicle. So we suggest it be presented from the left front and a walk around to the rear. That's what we suggest. Once we complete that type of a presentation, an external presentation, and if they want to lean in and look at the interior, they can, but I'm not going to make a presentation of the interior yet. So we show the outside safety features first. The trunk features, the fact that if it has a spare tire, the spare tire is horizontal. So what does that mean? That means that it's set in such a way that it's like a bumper in case of a rear impact. All these things that they don't really think about. It's important because we're relating to them, their friends, their family. Once we complete the external presentation and they're showing enough interest in the model and we feel we're kind of on the right model, we then will leave the people, excuse ourselves, and I would suggest we'd offer refreshments at this time, excuse ourselves to take a time out, and we would go set the stage for the demo. And that's what we would do under the positive conditions. But if I didn't have this technique in my mind, and I just happen to ramble over and say, hey, by the way, would you folks like to take a ride? That's where my negatives are going to begin because of all those thought processes that I've already talked about. And the sales associate perception of value. Well, if I have a non-buyer, quote unquote, with me today, why would I give a demo? I don't want to necessarily do that. I don't believe it's valuable. And yet, that person is forgetting the fact that if this person doesn't complete a transaction today, but at least finds one they like, and they return, their closing rate is 3 times greater than the first time in. So that has been lost, that perception of value. So you're not closing a deal today necessarily, you're closing a deal tomorrow. We might have different opinions on management as far as the demo and how it's done. So anything that's confusing in setting the stage for a demo is really going to cost everybody a lot of money, believe me. Training, counseling. So the actual process of setting the stage for a demo should be well understood and well trained because of the importance of it. Taking a premature inventory walk. We really, when we walk the inventory without a lot of knowledge of the customer's wants and needs, it's like a Disneyland tour. And, you know, every interview has a time factor to it. And if I use time that's not constructive, I'm going to start losing eventually control. So I want to take the inventory walk after the demo, not before. Believe it. Because then I'll have a focused reason for going into the inventory. Pre-owned. If I'm going to set the stage for a demo on pre-owned and they show interest in a vehicle, I want to make sure I slot the car. That means get it out of the line. Pull it out so I can show them the features of the vehicle and leave it running. So we then will be ready to set the car up for the demo. It'll be natural. So we don't want to show a car not running pre-owned in a line. We want to pull it out and keep it running so that we can really set the stage for it. What are reasons that a low demo develops? Listening to, quote, customers demanding that there's no demo. Now look at it, I don't want to take a ride. Okay. Am I going to take a ride? No, I'm going to go what? Pull the car up to do what? Show the interior features. That's what I'm going to be doing. So I'm not using the word demo. I showed the exterior of the vehicle, as I mentioned, first. Now I'm going to excuse myself and pull the car up to show the interior features that I can if it's sitting without a key or I can't start it. I don't have the information to start it. And if it was inside, I certainly can't run it. So why did I go pull a car up? The reason I pull the car up is so that we can show the interior features, and it should be idling to really show the features properly. So when they demanded a demo, I didn't demo. I'm not demoing. I'm coming up to show the interior features that would lead, we know, to a demo. So I'm not using demo. I'm using interior presentation as an excuse to pull a vehicle up. The actual buyer's not here. That would give me another reason. But who's going to go get the buyer here? It's the person that has a great experience and brings the buyer back because of the experience. Their car is basically the same. Well, you know how many people are riding in automobiles and they don't know where half the features are anyway? So because they are driving a car that's similar, it does not mean they understand the features of the automobile. What do they think happens on a front-end impact? What do they think happens to the steering wheel? They don't know because they were never told. So that's an example of what they don't know. What about the safety glass windshield? Do they understand what the benefits are of that? They don't know. Their neighbor has one. So, does their neighbor know any more about it? No. They don't have time. Well, that's always a great excuse. But I'm showing the interior features. Remember, that's what I'm showing. I'm not giving a demo ride. They've owned 10 of them, okay? And they don't need a ride. Well, that doesn't mean they understand the vehicle either. Just came in for a brochure. Well, it all starts somewhere. We understand that. They demoed over at. Well, that's a great excuse. But in my shopping reports, I promise you, a typical demo is not a demo, it's a ride. So they really aren't shown the vehicle. So I know that doesn't cover the territory that I want to. Only drive the car they buy. Fine, but the interior features are the same on every car they're going to look at that they will buy. They just want a price. Absolutely, but I don't want to gamble with their money, so I don't want to make sure we're looking at the right vehicle for them. I bought X number of cars and never demoed. That's great, but I brought the car up to do what? Show the interior features. Give me a price, then I'll demo. Absolutely, but let's identify exactly what you want so we make sure the price is going to be on the right items. Asking, I'd like to, I'm going to, asking, no. And again, not slotting the pre-owned. So the big area of concern is pulling a car up to show the interior features, not asking for a demo. That's where the negatives start to begin for all these excuses. They're not reasons, they're really excuses. Pull a car up to show the interior features is the name of the game. So representative models, house demos, now that we've talked about it, is a key. Role play, very important that we take a situation where we are hypothetically showing a vehicle, the features of a vehicle, and then we go set the stage and show how the demo is set up. We go get a car, pull it up, bring it near the front of the dealership, leave it running, open the passenger doors and invite them in. They should actually see how that is done. Management consistency. They should know, the product specialist should know that we all are focusing on the demo and the methods of getting the demo. Backtrack. Backtracking as a term means doing something in reverse. Say that I have a unique situation here and the customer wants to look at interior features first. Well, I may do that first under certain unique conditions, and I may pull a car up right away because they want to look at something on the inside. So I'll pull a car up, leave it running, and invite them to the interior. Remember, they haven't seen the exterior yet, but so what? So I'm going to put them in the interior and then take the demo right and then come back and show them the exterior features. That's backtracking. I'm just reversing the conditions, that's all. But as long as it gets done, that's what counts. So when we use the term backtrack, that means reverse something in order to come back to the original point anyway. Monitoring the showroom activity. The manager should be always observing when a person is with a customer. When a product specialist is with a customer or customers, is that action that we talked about being observed to occur that way. That's what really counts. If I'm walking by someone and I hear someone say, "Would you like to take a ride?" That would be a warning to me to counsel with these people, at least in the future. So listening to how the presentation of a demo is unfolding is very important. Another concern, obviously, is selection, because without selection, we're going to have a very empty interview. And a poor selection worksheet is a guide as to telling us we may not have what we're looking for a real selection. Why would we have a poor selection worksheet? Because there could be a lack of treatment, no emotion. This is not catching the interest. The product specialist doesn't believe that he has or she has anything. So that may show that there is a shortcutting of the process when they're not planning on doing the process and relying on the impact to bring that customer back. No pick. They just haven't picked anything. Well, we don't know yet. We're not sure. So there wasn't enough counseling done. We didn't counsel. We didn't sit down and talk to them so we can identify what their needs are. Not buying now. Well, anybody can say not buying now, but how many people that walked in saying they're not buying now ended up buying? So they don't even have to say that. If I take them through the process, they will show that they are buying. They can prove it. I don't have to mention it. The process allows them to turn from a looker into a buyer. Casual worksheet uses a scratch pad. I just don't want to take notes on the worksheet. I want to make sure that this is the stock number, this is the equipment, that's the color, and I want to be specific on what they like. That's what I'm writing down. So I'm very careful in building a vehicle that they like, and of course relating to one of them in stock. Time. They don't have a lot of time. Well, if they don't have time, what should I be doing? I should be excusing myself if that's the case, if I can't slow them down, and I should talk to a manager and get a manager involved. No customer control for the same reasons. How do I lose customer control? Mostly it's because my game plan is not unfolding the way it should. The greeting, welcome to, hand my card, write their name, counsel with them on what they're looking for as far as wants and needs. And if I'm not controlling that pace, then that's really what's happening. If I don't say to them, follow me, I should have the pace already built into the interview. And if I don't have a pace, then we're going to sit there, hands in my pockets, while I'm looking around wondering what we're going to say next. That's losing control of the deal because I didn't set the pace. Not trained properly. This person said they knew all about the automobile business when they came here. They took a couple of days to look at the product film, and that was it. So they really don't know what they're trying to do as far as one step after the other. 2 stock numbers, duplicate worksheets. That's the Mutt and Jeff routine. They're using that to give themselves a way out by saying, well, we want to think about it. Well, what's there to think about? Color doesn't cost anything. Equipment doesn't cost anything. And so let's talk about let's use a vehicle as an example quote, and then we can vary it from there. Management inconsistencies at the desk. So one manager is using my vagueness to say, well, let's pick that one. Let's talk about that one. And we really don't know if they want it or not. We're just using it as an example. Excuses to only get the process approved. So I may be using a worksheet so that they can say, okay, but they're going to leave now. You know, I'm only trying to find the way out of the deal. I'm filling the worksheet out of because I have to. I'm not really communicating with the customer. I'm doing what I have to satisfy the desk. And it's not used properly as a selection tool. So when I write information on a worksheet, I should be communicating with the customer. Other than price, as I use the term, other than price, is that the color you'd like? Other than price, would that be the equipment? And we can cover all the pricing later, which I will do anyway. Corrective action. So when I have a unstructured selection process, which that is referring to, I want to role play the selection trial closes. I want to get them sitting at a table so that we can really understand why we're doing what we're doing. I want to maybe have them present a vehicle and see if they're really talking about what the people want. Are we really talking about counseling with people properly and finding out what their wants and needs are? And I'm not talking about equipment. I'm talking what are the features they're looking for. Maybe I really didn't understand that. Role play the importance as a selection closing tool. If the person in front of me or the people in front of me really focus on a given product, then they have all the reasons to either complete a transaction and they're moving towards that, or they have all the reasons to come back or bring someone back. So we can't stress that enough. It doesn't cost anything for a customer to say they like it. It costs nothing. So I want to stress that with the customer. Backtrack. I went into the desk office to relay a situation. I'm not sure what to do. I got some advice and I'm going back to the customer to complete the approach. So I backtracked my way by checking inventory, whatever, to get me to the desk so that I could get some counseling and go back to the customer. Consistency at the desk, the speed and tempo. If I've been with the customer for an hour and I don't have a selection, something was way off. And that means that we weren't communicating properly. So I have to find out why it has taken so long to get to the point of saying, I like that particular car. What was missing? What did we not cover? Did we take a premature inventory walk, take a Disneyland tour of the dealership, but not have anything accomplished? Am I using representative models? Am I using the showroom models to present? Am I using house demos to present features of the car? I can do that also. And again, that premature inventory walk is not accomplishing anything if the stage wasn't set before we took the walk. And I want to monitor that. No sales desk contact. The sales desk was set up to serve the product specialist. It was set up to give them an official location to go and review the condition that they have with the customer, to review the interview. If they don't use the desk, they're pre-qualifying the customer and they're not really getting the information from the customer or within themselves that they need to work a deal. Extreme customer. If they have an extreme customer and they're losing communication with the customer, what should they do? They should stop and ask the customer why they feel uncomfortable. They should bring up the subject. Afraid of offending customer. What's offense mean? What does that mean? Poor qualifying techniques. They're not really listening to the customer's wants and needs. Pre-qualifying, determining they really don't have much to work with. Premature inventory walk, just taking a Disneyland tour, as I say, but not knowing why they're out there yet. There's a manager not available. They went looking for someone, but they couldn't find anybody. At least the desk was there. No physical gift to excuse themselves, to give them a reason to go to the manager for help. No off-desk management support. They couldn't find anybody to help them, even though the manager at the desk advised them to go get a manager. Not aware of the 4 ways to the desk. The 4 ways to the desk are not complicated. I'm going to the desk to check on availability. I'm going to the desk to research the price. I'm going to the desk to check on incoming. I'm going to the desk to get help. So there's no secret to going to the desk. I'm going there for a reason to help support the interview. Or I don't feel I need the desk. I pre-qualified this condition very well. So I didn't use the desk because I didn't think I needed it. Corrective action. I want to role play why and how they get the desk. That's what I want to do. So the desk is a location focus for them, so they'll know where to go to take a time out to get help. That's what the desk is, and that's what it's for. If I couldn't get to the desk, then I should call the desk. Why do I have to walk away from situations if I don't need to? What secrets have I got? None. So if I'm calling the desk for help, I'm going to tell them why I'm calling them. I have no reasons to try to hide a communication with the desk. It's yes or it's no, really. And why not have the customer involved if there's something I'm trying to get handled? I may ask for some assistance with an item, okay, that I'm not sure of or need help on. I may be intimidated by this customer and I need another face. So I may ask someone to come out to help me with something so I can observe. Representative models. Do I have what I need to keep the customer occupied on the features of the car? Am I able to pull a car up so that I can show them the interior features of it? I need that vehicle available as quickly as I can. Pre-owned. How many customers are not going to find what they're looking for on the pre-owned side of the business? Half? Well, what happens to those people that are looking for vehicles that we don't have? Where is that documented? When a person asks if we have something, I should always take the inventory walk to look Why? Quote, because the lot, quote, is changing all the time, folks. Let's take a peek and see if it just came in. So I always want to walk the inventory. Why? I had a lady, Mrs. Jackson, come in. She came in, she wanted to look at a car at the end of the lot. It was a station wagon. As we're walking towards the station wagon, she says, "Bob, what's that?" I pointed out to her. She leaves owning a coupe. So nobody knows what they're going to find until they get out to the inventory and start to look at some of these vehicles, because it could be the color that catches their attention, it could be condition, it could be style. Thinking about what they want is one thing. Sitting in and walking amongst the vehicles is completely another. So you always want to pursue an inventory walk no matter what on the pre-owned side. Lack of technique, getting customer from inventory to the showroom. If I want to go from the lot now and get back into the showroom for whatever reason, I'll say, let me check and see what's coming in. It could be on the way in now. Does dealership have locator sheets? Do we keep a record of the vehicles we have not had available for the customers? Does that give management guidance in searching for something? Could our buyers who go to the auctions, could they know exactly what they're looking for? All of this makes a difference, and it reminds the customer that we haven't given up on them. Do product specialists have locator sheets at their desk? Do they either use a worksheet to identify a selection or a worksheet to identify a vehicle that we don't have? All of it is very, very important for today's business or future business. A customer might have walked by a vehicle that they could have liked, but it was too expensive. Well, what is too expensive? We know that most customers are payment driven, particularly on the pre-owned side. Well, a $300 payment example for 12 months is how much? 36. A $300 payment for 60 is how much? $18,000. So I can go for the same payment for $3,600, or I can go for $18,000. That is my purchasing power based on the payment variable. Now, is the customer losing when they increase the term? Not really, because they're getting a newer vehicle, a safer vehicle, a vehicle under warranty possibly. So the conditions of the vehicle improve as the terms improve. So have they thought about this? I don't think so, because how many customers come in to a pre-owned lot and say, what do you have between $3,600 and $18,000, because I know what the payment is going to be for either one. They don't even understand the purchasing power. So that's a great closing tool to move people from something they thought they wanted to something they could get if we explained it to them. Lack of technique on locator sheet limits and next move payments. Corrective action on the pre-owned locator sheet, TO. I understand you are looking for low mileage. Explain purchase power chart, those extended terms that I just mentioned. Other than price, was there anything out there that you really liked? Let's document what you're looking for, because it may be coming in, obviously, and our buyer may go out and find one. Another condition that we could face: low returning customers, low B-backs. Well, the number one reason for a low B-back ratio is they're not selecting vehicles. We should have a 100% sense of purpose in meeting a customer. And that should be to help them find a vehicle they like. So the selection is the key. It's key to today's business. It's key to the future. So if I'm not getting the beatbacks that I'm entitled to, those people that left here without picking something, why would they return? So they've got to get the full process. They've got to understand that we are holding nothing back. They don't have to be a buyer for us to go through the complete process, including pricing. Because the competition will not do what I'm suggesting. We've mentioned that already. Customers identifying an attitude issue. If I'm not showing interest in them, if I feel that they're really, and I'm using the "why don't you go out and take a peek" approach, they know that they're getting blown off. So I don't want to use that. I have an attitude. The attitude is this: you're in front of me. I have something I'd like to accomplish with you. Follow me. Not let them know what we're going to do. Follow me, and let's get into the process. Makes a huge difference, okay? So they've got to feel that we really want them here, because I know today's non-buyer can become tomorrow's buyer, and they will, if they come in tomorrow, the closing rate is 3 times greater than today. But they have to have a selection. No immediate follow-up. When they left, I didn't call them, and no manager TO. Corrective action. How much time was spent with the customer? Did we really have the right time, or was too much time spent not accomplishing something? So sometimes we don't draw the customers to conclusions, and we can spend time walking and talking but not get anything done. Other times we only spend a few minutes with them. Why? Because they're not ready to buy today. Backtrack for model introduction, demo, or even a service walk, service presentation. So I could always turn the interview around temporarily by saying, well, let me do this, and a reverse direction on some of these issues so that I can get back to the main issue anyway, which is the selection. Management release. The manager should be the one who releases the customers if we're not successful. Why? Because the manager's first approach to a customer will be, hi, thank you for coming in, and I was wondering, folks, if you had an opportunity to find a vehicle you like. That is really the essence of identifying where we are and how we're going to leave them if they can't complete the transaction. Manage your follow-up calls. So if this customer needed somebody of higher authority to talk to them, I will definitely call them. Now, why is a follow-up call important? And what do I have to know before I make as a manager, before I make a follow-up call? I have to know nothing. All I have to say is this: hi, folks. My name is Bob Purdon. I'm a manager over at, and I'm looking at the records, and I understand that you folks were in recently. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. And I was wondering, unless I'm incorrect, why or did we not earn your business? That's what I was wondering. I want them to tell me, in their opinion, why they did not complete a transaction. I want to hear what the customer says, not what the internal person says at the dealership. So I don't care what anybody thought happened inside the dealership. I care what the customer's impression was. And when they give me their reasons, whatever it may be, that they did not complete a purchase, then I'm going to use those reasons as a hook by giving a solution to the answers to those questions they have, so we can set an appointment up. So do I have to know what they did when they were here? No, I have to know why they didn't complete the purchase in their opinion. train on follow-up technique. Follow-up is very easy. It's just, we understand that you are in. We understand, in our opinion, that you did not complete a purchase. How can we earn your business? And, by the way, did you find something that you liked? And then listen to their reasons, listen to their situations, and let's come up with a solution to get them back in. Because remember, the closing ratio is 3 times greater when they come back. And we want to review the product specialist's daily activities. Are they really staying in touch with these customers? Not only the customers that didn't buy, but what about the purchasers? What about the people that bought 6 months ago, 3 months? Are they hearing from us? All of these things are important in staying in touch with the customer. Another condition we could face, temporarily at least, low traffic count. A product specialist is having a low traffic count. Is this person relying only on the front door? Is this person going to the computer to keep busy, but not really accomplishing anything? Looking at names in the computer, but not talking to anyone? Doesn't believe that calling produces enough results? Not creating internal sales associates? That means people inside the business who will get them customers if possible. Not developing a daily game plan of contacting goals, resulting in not pursuing who to contact. Has a subtle fear of rejection on the phone. Cannot see the value of random contact. Have tried calling, but it didn't do anything. Not staying in close enough touch with non-buyers. Solution. Select contact sources. Where are the sources for contact? Is it publications? Is it CRMs? Where is it going to come from? Service customers who have 3 and 4 and 5-year-old vehicles? Determine how many contacts per day. Break into these categories: tasks, service owners, non-buyers. Commit to a plan for 5 days per week for a month. The one thing that always impressed me was certain people having a fear of the word no. And I say, why? What's the fear of hearing no? And it's like, they don't want to hear it. And I said, who cares? If I hear 10 no's and 1 yes, I'm moving in the right direction. So the no should not be a challenge to anybody as far as wanting to not pick up the phone because they might hear no. It's what could I do? I'm not calling to lean on them. I'm calling to ask them how I can serve them. So it is very, very important to have the phone used properly. And the more contacts we make on the phone, believe it, the more business we are going to do. And you never know when you're talking to someone who could be there. I'll never forget a call I made, and this lady is answering the phone, and I introduced who my name and what I was calling for. Said, well, not myself, but there's somebody across the table from me. Gave me the name, the person came in, and we did business. So who knows? I'm only trying to ask her, who can I help? That's what it's all about. No true selection. This is what we really have to hone in on of all the issues. This is the most important. Not setting the stage properly by really inquiring as to what their wants and needs are. What are the features that you're looking for? Not equipment, features. Not giving an effective hood and trunk presentation on the showroom floor. There are so many things these automobiles have that are built into the vehicle itself that people do not know about. Every time I talk about a safety feature, I might be answering a concern they had. How do I know that these people haven't had some condition of a vehicle that they are really concerned about? I don't know until I start presenting features. I don't know their history. Regardless of what they say, the next issue, not pulling a house demo up front or even demoing the specific car that they came in to see. I want to make sure they get in the car and experience the ride. Having a they're not in the market attitude, so why bother? Giving customers a ride rather than showing all the features that they will listen to while in the park. We should ride to a certain point. We should then change positions, because I drove. They should then move to the front seat, and I should make a presentation of the features basically from the middle of the rear seat and have them sit there and touch all these features up front. That's what should happen with a timeout on the demo. Not pulling directly into the inventory on returning from the demo. They have a peak of interest. They have a peak of excitement. So why not take advantage of it and now go to the inventory? This is the inventory walk. It's after the demo, not before. At the point of no selection, not taking time out to get a manager involved. It could be a different face. People often wonder why, when someone else came into the interview, did the customer change their position after they told me maybe or no. Now it's yes. Why? Because a different face, a different voice can give the customer an excuse to change their position. So that's why sometimes a different approach by someone else on the same issue can be successful, not because they said anything differently. They gave the customer an excuse to change their opinion, is what happens. At the point of no selection, not taking time out to get a manager involved. Use the manager, use another person, very important. Because again, that different face, that different voice could make a huge difference. Not pulling the vehicle of interest up to the front and personalizing the details of the interior is what we're talking about. Not constantly reminding the customer as they show interest that we are doing this regardless of their buying intention. And not using a worksheet to document the decisions we're making. These are examples of common situations and common conditions that occur all the time in dealerships. So these sheets that I just referred to should be printed, in my opinion. You may vary the content, obviously, but they should be printed. And when I am going to sit with a product specialist, they should have a copy, I have a copy, and we should identify as we review these items what we can do. So this is the library, if you will, of problems and solutions. And if you use this, you'll find that they will be more comfortable because they're getting answers to the questions that they have. And the more answers they get, the more they're motivated to meet the next customer. So they shouldn't fear anything that can happen on the showroom floor. They should look forward to it if they have a reaction to it. And when a customer says, I'm not buying today, they should say, I understand. It all starts somewhere. And have fun with it, not challenge it. So that's the difference in attitude. They should know that every customer that they meet is a potential buyer. Maybe not today, but it could be tomorrow. And when they come back, the odds are increasing anyway. So every customer is an opportunity to do business. So they should know that they're here to do what? Present their process to a customer. That's what they're here for. And the key ingredient in the process for both product specialist and customer is the fact that they are selecting a vehicle they like. That does not say buy, they like. And from that point, we can now determine whether we're heading into the buy column or the returning column. And that's what it's about. It's not worrying who is and who isn't. It's not where they're from, where they're going, where they've been. That's how much money. That stuff does not interest me at this point. I have reaction to it when they bring that stuff up. So I am not hung up on anything except let me show you the dealership, the features. Let's take a look at the interior features. Let's enjoy the vehicle, come back and find one that we like. That's what it's really all about, and document it. Then I'm going to research the prices, give you the information, and of course you'll eventually officially say yes or no. That's what it's about. So if we keep it that simple and focused, we will do nothing but change the nature of the business as far as the customer is concerned, because as I have mentioned before, after shopping over 700 dealerships and sending people out to visit these dealerships, I promise you these things are not happening consistently. You don't have any competition in these areas. All we have to do is focus in on it, make the approach better, the process better, and we will just win more from the get-go. Thank you.